Hello, people. Um, Fresh. I'm excited. Ready for this. Ready for the season, man. I mean, it's that's all a part of it. I think for on one side, we're not coming into this season saying, "Oh, we made it to the Western Conference Finals last year, so that's automatically gonna happen." We got a completely different team. Um, a lot of building to be done. But this year, we coming in. Our focus is to win a championship. I think our mentality has to shift to that. So our what the experts percentages of us making the playoffs. I mean, that's I would say the least of our concern. What they're saying about what our team is going to do. Yeah, I feel like it's coming together naturally. Being together for some weeks now and playing pickup has just been cool. I think the environment that we've created over the years, guys come in and it's easy to get comfortable with. And I think that's what's happening. Everybody's kind of just comfortable with the way things go at our facility and just around our team. And it's the same. It's funny because I feel like we just doing it all over again. A bunch of new players. Now we sitting in the locker room for hours after we get done. Like we play pickup, we work out together, sitting around in the training room, sitting around in the locker room, and it's like that getting to know you just beyond the surface type stuff, and going through that again. So I think these are important times for us as a group, and looking forward to continuing to build that. I think just what he does naturally is it's just different. A guy to be that long, um, a natural just shot blocker, presence in the paint. You get in the paint and he's covering up the rim, like you can't see the rim around him. The kind of shots that he blocks, he blocking floaters up at the top. Just that type of stuff is a true paint presence on that end. A game changer in that way. I think that was when we did that like years back. We were much younger and much more inexperienced. And I think with this group now, we even though we have such a new team, a lot of guys have been in the league and have experience with good and bad, been on good teams and bad teams. So I think for us, it's going to be more of us communicating with each other. How our communication is and understanding each other and helping each other. I think it'll be more of that and watching film and going over situations on the court than it will be going, on a trip or anything like that. I think it was important for us to get here, get together, and start getting the ball rolling. I would say like one person. If I had to say one person, I would say Kent Bazemore. Just you can just see that it's fresh. He feels like a fresh start, um, and he's excited to be here. Just watching him. Um, I went, we were partners at Rookie Transition, so I've known him a long time. He lived in the Bay Area, so we've been around each other. We've known each other pretty well. But the last few weeks, I mean, his playmaking, his defense. I mean, he's been matching up against me every opportunity he could get. His ability to shoot the ball, his understanding. It's like just a vet out there. He's understands things just easy, making shots, making plays. Like I said, defending, just affecting the games. In our pickup games, he's having an impact on it, and it's not loud, it's not extra. It's just like you can tell he's going to be very present for our team. Yeah. Yeah, I think this year more than any other year we'll be playing at a faster pace, just more possessions, um, and I think it'll be that way because of our wings. Um, Mario is a fast-paced player, pushing the ball in transition, pass ahead. He likes getting the ball passed to him ahead and getting downhill. He really is a really good playmaker in transition, and he can score in the paint. He can shoot the ball, and the same thing with Kent and Hoodie. So I think with those three at the wing, it presents a different style for our team. Whereas in the past we didn't have these type of wings that were like score playmakers in the way that these guys are. So um, even when we don't have the ball, like I play without the ball a lot more than usual these last few weeks because those guys getting the ball and just taking off, and I'm catching and shooting the ball instead of making something happen and playing against a crowd and stuff. So um, I would love it if if we can continue that into real games because I was just like sprint up the sideline, the defense pull over, and they throwing me the ball, and I'm catching and shooting. So I could definitely see us playing a faster pace. I think we could be really good defensively as well. For those same reasons, I thought we improved a lot last year defensively. I think having Hassan in the middle of the paint defensively is going to be a bigger difference than y'all might realize. Just like thinking about it, I mean, just getting in the paint and him being there, sometimes you feel the difference. But I think once again, being able to have wings who can really defend and who are experienced and got good size like we have is like Mo and Chief. If they played the three and the two, being able to have Rodney and Bays out there at the same time. You got two really good defenders on the wing, and both you guys excited. You got guys excited to do the job. So I think we got potential to be really good defensively. Is really important because a lot of teams who struggle defensively are young teams because it's understanding of what other teams like to do, knowing players' tendencies around the league. I think when you have experience, you to the point where like when you play against a team, you know what the coach likes to do. Like when we play against certain teams, I know what they're trying to do because of who their coach is. And I think a lot of those things play a part in being a good defensive team, being able to hear terms and know players and situations and stuff like that. That comes from experience and just being in the league. It gives you a different level of understanding. So I think the fact that we have more guys like that, we didn't just bring in a bunch of young guys and a bunch of talent, without the understanding. We got the talent and guys who have experience, so they understand. So things come along faster. And things just are better that way. So I think that's in our favor. I think just from watching preseason, the weeks leading up to now, I'm showing up to the PF 9 o'clock. Usually we start at 9:30. Is not mandatory, but everybody's there. I'm showing up at 9:30 and I'm seeing guys coming into the weight room, guys in the treatment room, and like Nurk is on his way out the weight room. Like he's done. I'm seeing him doing his work on the court. So it's just from me knowing Nurk so well and seeing what he's doing, I think it's just a level of urgency and seriousness. Because I've been through it, where I had a major injury in college and the game was taken away, and you want to get back, you want to feel like yourself, you want to be improved, you want to come back and help the team, all of these things. So the seriousness of like your preparation and you doing everything you need to do, it goes to a different level. And I can see that in his face. Like I know me and him, we train with some of the same people in the off season, and I know he's trying to set stuff up to like make sure he's ready. So that's a great feeling, being his teammate and knowing that he's taking it serious and not looking at it like, oh, I'm gonna miss some time, so I'll get ready when I get ready. Just knowing that he's taking it serious and he's gonna be ready when the time comes to help our team. Yeah, I mean, it's we a team, so like it's not about, oh, well, you got to worry about this or worry about that. It's about what's gonna be best for the team. And right now, what's best for Nurk is to make sure that he's taking care of his rehab and making sure his body is holding up and making sure that he's training how he's supposed to train so he's on track to come back. And with Hassan is making sure that he's doing what we need him to do right now, while Nurk is unavailable. And then once it's time for Nurk to come back, I'm sure he's going to want to come right back and no restriction and jump right back in it because I know him. But I think once you get there, you evaluate how things are going for the team, evaluate who matches up better with what lineups, and then you go from there. But it's going to be a lot of time between the time of his injury and when he comes back, so you want to make sure that you're careful with that. But you also do what's best for the team to be at our best. Nurk, I mean, he loved to FaceTime me when it's daytime in Croatia and I'm knocked out. So he'd get mad at me if I don't answer a FaceTime when I'm asleep or something. But just every time I talked to him, it was like he was training, like, and that's not made up. But he was really trying to get going. I went on vacation in Mexico with some of my family, and Nurk was on vacation out there too, and we was both training. Like, we was training, and he was already like ahead of schedule and moving and on top of it, and that was way back, like way back. So like right then, I kind of started to get that feeling of like he's really serious about this bounce back. So what month was that, Nurk? What month? Bro, don't act like you're not listening. What? What? When did we go to Mexico? It was for Amina. It was Amina's birthday. When was that? June. See, see, that was like soon. Yeah. Yeah. They just learned the hard way. They had to learn the hard way. I think when people like look at Portland, they don't see it as like the most attractive place. And a lot of the positives about being here you can't see unless you come be a part of it. They come play here and it's raining, it's cold. They like it's far away from everything. So that's all they can think of when they think like, am I going to sign up to come play here? But then when you get here and you see what type of work environment it is, you see the kind of people that we get to work with, including like the media. Like everybody that we work with is like, the bad is not so bad, but it's like it's a great place to be. And you gotta come here to experience that and to see what our fans are like, and then to like experience success. Every time our goal is to compete for a championship, and even when we don't do that, we don't have bad years. And it's people who go certain places and they experience bad stuff, from the organization to the fans to the media to losing and all that, and they skip out on it. So I think when people don't come here, it has a lot to do with not knowing what they're missing out on. And people went different routes in the past, including those guys, and I think they see from the outside that it's this is real. This is a real situation, and they weren't gonna miss out on it a second time. So I think all of them bring something to our team that we can use that can make us a better team. So we excited to have them. I mean, think me and everybody else, we seeing what we want to see. I mean, he's been scoring the ball. A lot of times when me and him on the same team, I'm playing off the ball and letting him play on the ball just so he can feel comfortable. I don't want him to feel like um, he doesn't, he won't have the opportunity to be himself. I know that Ant being able to be himself and Zach being able to be himself and be comfortable and not feel like they can't do this or don't do that, that's what's gonna make our team, really our best, is the most that we can get out of each guy. And those two being like super young talents on our team that's gonna have roles, like they're gonna play minutes. You want to give them every opportunity to feel comfortable and to do the stuff that they can do to help our team. And I think both of them have looked great. Like in the preseason leading up to camp, I think they both look great. But Ant has looked like the player that I think everybody would want to see, just from scoring the ball to talking more. I mean, he didn't say a word last year. Probably said 2 words the whole season. So, I mean, now he actually like is talking and having something to say. Like he'll engage on the court. So I think like his growth from last year to this year already is like it's encouraging for everybody, I'm sure. Can you say it again? I mean, it meant a lot because it's a commitment, and a lot of people have something to say about what I should do. Dame should do this, or why is he doing that? Because that's a commitment on my behalf, but it's a huge commitment from the team as well. So it's a great feeling knowing that we still have that commitment to each other, but also that I'm still able to push forward with my personal goals, which is to win the championship here, and to be the best player to ever play here. It allows me that much more time to continue pursuing that and continue to be here. So it's an honor for me. I don't see it as one team. I think in the West, like the past few years for us, people didn't look at us as a real threat, but like we went up against teams and I mean, this past season was the perfect example. Like we ended up being one of the Final Four teams, and on paper, you never would have guessed that. So I don't think it's one team. I think it's just the struggle of being in the West. I think you look at the Lakers and the Clippers and the Jazz and the Spurs. It's so many teams, the Rockets. You look at all these teams who are going to be good teams, and then you look at the teams who weren't in the playoffs last year. You think about Minnesota and New Orleans and Dallas and Phoenix and Sacramento. All these teams, like, they're going to be better. So I think the challenge for us is to worry about everybody, not just say, okay, who is the team to beat, because any of these teams could get you. So it's just a matter of us being consistent, having our minds in the right place and being ready to protect that every night, because it's gonna be a brawl. Like every team is gonna be a challenge, from, like I said, the teams considered to be elite to the teams that people think aren't gonna be that good. Everybody's gonna be a challenge. I think just off the top, and it's a short amount of time, I think as far as depth and like real ability, this might be the deepest team. My second year we was pretty deep, but we were deep with, like, we were a great starting lineup, and then we had a lot of young talent on the bench that didn't have a lot of experience, with like CJ, AC, with Thrill, like, who are great players now, but at the time were inexperienced. And then we had like D. Wright and Mo, Joe Freeland, who were like really good players, but they were all at the end of their careers. So we had like depth, but it was like we got these guys at the end of their careers who are giving us a lot, and then we got great talent who are like young and inexperienced. So I think now we got like that perfect balance of like we had the perfect age, we got experience. The young talent is like Zach and Ant, people who've played. So I think this team is probably the deepest